A wrong character is more dangerous than wealth. Wealth is never evil, but we make it evil. And when we are looking for worldliness in this, when we are looking for carnality in this, it is not the possession, it is not the material thing, it is the character that is not of God. It is the habit which is not in line with God, trying to seek for wealth. So Jesus said, take heed and beware of covetousness. When we talk about covetousness, it is an extreme desire. It is not a positive one, it's a negative one that craves for material things and wealth. Now let me tell you something. That strong desire always craves for things, not because you don't have, but because you think, I need to have this also because others are having. Now over here, the problem is not what we don't have, but the problem is the negative character we do not know that we have. Our character, our way of life towards prosperity, towards riches, towards wealth makes it a weapon against us and others. So we see that when somebody is wealthy, their character behind the wealth is the most dangerous aspect, and not the wealth he's having. To abound in wealth is not a problem, but to overlook a negative reason for gathering the wealth is the most dangerous thing. Covetousness does not mean that you don't have. It is a character of greed. It makes you greedy of every and anything that you see. It is not that you don't have one. So the problem in here is not the material things. The problem is the character in the man craving for the material things. There are a lot of us, even in the pulpit, our pastors do say this. When somebody is having cars, fleet of cars, mansions, we often tag this person to be carnal and worldly because he's having the possession. Worldliness is not the acquisition of possessions. Worldliness is the acceptance of a system that is not in agreement with God. Accepting a system whose aim does not concur with God's. So worldliness is not the possession. If we define worldliness based on a man's possession, we're going to make a mistake, because what possesses a man is what makes a man, not what the man possesses. So one thing is this: always the things that possesses you are your possessors. So the man with the possession is not the man in trouble, but the man who is possessed by his possession is the man in trouble. So there are people who might not have these material things, but they are craving for them is more than a man who is having it. So there are people, when they don't have anything, they think they are spiritual. No, let's check your obsession. If it is not like the possession others are having, then you are clean. Sir, esibinu wa winya na wonye nyame nemba onu wonye sunsumofo won sunsun konkro ntu wo mu a yenhwe wa kondo yenhwe ba wakoma predo benya said dem nyama na nkofo no won krupo nka ho da anu ye better than them. The fact that you see somebody driving an expensive car, living in a mansion, doesn't make the person covetous. No, you can't see covetousness with sight. You will see it in the person's attitude. A pastor having a building, a pastor having a car. And why is it so? If you know that we are not going to stay over here forever, why are you acquiring possessions? When you put on that building, another will tell you, you know, we are not going to live over here forever. Then why don't we stop building and then live in streets? Because there are some people who make it look like if you are a Christian, if you're a child of God, and then you are succeeding, and then you dress well, you look good, you appear well, and you appear neat, they feel like you are now out of the grace and you are no longer under God's grace. Over here in our country, we try to define spirituality based on our culture. If you put on the African wear and then you minister, you are a spiritual man, you are in apostolic wear. But when you put on jeans, when you put on these things, they're going to say you are not spiritual, because that is somebody's culture. A person's culture does not define his spirituality. It is the presence of the Spirit of God. So don't define your fellowship and relationship with God based on your culture. There are people who are not having certain things and they might not have enough, but their hearts, the way they crave for these things, it will shock you. So let me tell you something. Don't base on a person's possession to define how covetous they are or how greedy they are. It is obsession that defines covetousness, not possessions.